Are you on?
We should be on. Hold on. We can be
Oh yeah,
heard.
we're on. We're
We
on.
can
I see it.
only be heard right now because I don't have this up. We got it.
Yeah.
We got it. We got
Yeah.
it. We got it.
Now we still need the other
We're
stuff.
fine. Welcome back. If this is your second time, which is probably not because we haven't actually streamed on YouTube ever, but here we are. This is the Hall of Cats podcast where we talk about the Middle-earth strategy battle game. I'm your host, Victor, and this is my co-host, Tomas. And today we're going to be talking about some exciting news because new information has come out about the new edition. Do you want to go ahead and lead us off there, Tomas? Talk about it a little?
Well, Aragorn's good now from the looks of it. Where's Minister? Got nerfed, bro. It's feeling bad. Even though I do Front spam. It still feels bad that the Warriors Minister got nerfed. Now I guess definitely not playing with them.
Well, we'll see.
No.
Like I said in our chat, in the movies you don't see anything but them getting dunked on by orcs the entire time.
Okay, so the Urkai at the end, bro, they get dunked on. So does that mean they're bad? They're like really bad. They got dunked on by a mass cavalry charge. And
yeah.
Wolf pikes, bro. Wolf pikes.
Okay,
How do you lose a mass cavalry charge? Wolf pikes. Like my guy, why do you have to look into the sun? Just close your eyes.
Well, I think that some magic has to do with that, right? I think that's the whole point of Eomer's Legion. Is it called Eomer? Riders of Eomer is what it's called.
I don't know.
Riders of Eomer is what it's called. So, like we said, today we're going to be going through the updates on the screen. You can see it says the Middle-earth strategy battle game key changes in the new edition. And this is on November 26th, 2024. And so the first thing we see is some promotional stuff from the movies. You have some Rohirrim against some Dunlendings. But the first thing that we want to talk about is down here, where it talks about reworked profiles. So, Tomas, have that Aragorn profile up so we can talk about it. And so we see Aragorn Strider is the same price, base 160, but he has some new buffs. First of all, he's fight 7. Shoot value of 3+, strength 4, defense 5, 3 attacks, 3 wounds, courage 4+, intelligence 3+, 3 might, 3 will, 3 fate. Race man, faction fellowship, and Dunedain. Unit type hero, infantry, and unique. And his base size is obviously the same as everyone else's 25mm. Now he has the Ring of Barahir in this new edition, which I think is excellent, lore-friendly additions to his profile. So, but before we get there, I don't want to skip one of the most important parts of the entire profile is that it says the Ring of Barahir and a hand and a half weapon. If we watch the movies, Aragorn always uses that hero sword, because in the books he has Anduril the whole time, basically, as a hand and a half weapon. And so I'm really glad that he has that option. If he doesn't take Anduril Flame of the West, he still has the option to two-hand if he so chooses. With Mighty Hero, that is actually really good. Anyway, So the Ring of Barahir is a unique piece of war gear. Whenever Aragorn is affected by a magical power, after any resists tests have been made, if able, he may roll a d6. On a natural 6, Aragorn is not affected by that magical power. So it's like an extra resist test after all others have failed. And it's actually really cool from the lore because of... Oh, goodness. I don't want to get it wrong, actually. I don't want to say it right now because I don't want to get it wrong. But basically, the ancestors of Aragorn, the Edain, have resisted Morgoth in the first age of Middle-earth and were resistant to his ways, even though, there's a lot of tragedies that happen with individual Edain characters, like Turin Turambar. But Like Hurin, for example, has a last stand against the armies of Morgoth. So this is great. It's a relic from the first age, so it's all lore friendly, and it also helps Aragorn be better. His heroic actions are all basically the same.
Wait. Before we move on, the Ring of Bread should be a 5+. Venus just rolling the 6. That kind of sucks, bro. Like, I don't know, man. That's it. It should at least be a 5+. What is the point? 1 in 6 chance. I know this is. I know Lord of the Rings is called Lord of Sixes, but bro, come on,
Well,
man. Can they?
now you just need another 6. That's the thing.
Holy
My
shit,
question
bro! Like,
is,
did
my
they want it
question.
to actually go off? Like, that's my question. Do they want this to actually go off in a game, bro? At least to make it a 5+.
My
You
question is,
know?
why aren't people just going to roll this with all of their other resist tests? Just on a different dice.
Oh, because what is the wording? Is this one after you resist
It
test?
says after all of them have been made, but if you
Yeah.
roll it with a different dice, what does it even matter?
I don't know, bro. Probably for wording to not cause confusion. Because if you're like, they have to do
I
it
mean,
for
I
wording.
understand. No. I
Because
mean,
as soon as you're like, yeah,
the flavor of it is great. Like, oh, all other resistances have failed. Now, the ancestry of the ages is going to protect you from the magical power of evil, which is pretty solid. I like that a lot. But I don't know why. I don't know why people wouldn't do that. In fact, I think people are going to do that. I would
yeah,
probably
they
say.
should for expediency. I know one person for sure is going to do that. Chris. It's going to be
Yeah.
Chris, bro.
Yeah.
Chris is always on top of that.
Adam
You
too,
know?
I would say.
Yeah.
Some of our local buddies.
Yeah.
Anyway, so his heroic actions, and we can come back to some of this other stuff if you want. Like we didn't talk about Dunedain and Fellowship. We didn't mention how he's not in Rohan lists or anything like that, as far as we can see.
Or just
But
like,
that's all speculation. So heroic actions are all basically the same, and then we have our options, which is the kind of the more changes. So Andurill's the exact same, which is great. I mean, it was already great. It's how in our last local tournament, Elisar killed the Balrog, like easily. Was it the Balrog or was it the bears? I don't remember. Killed some big monster with it and just wounded on 3s, two-handed and wounded on 3s. Didn't matter the Balrog's defense 10. Who cares? Andurill, baby. So Andurill's awesome. Everyone knows it. He also has the option of Brago, which is now 20 points, like all other standard horses, but we're going to look at what Brago does in just a second.
Brago, dude.
Armor, bow, elven cloak. Then we have in the special rules Horse Lord, Mighty Hero, and Resistance to Magic.
Yeah.
What
So
do you
one dice,
know?
right?
1 dice free, 3 will, plus 1 extra dice to try and get a 6. I think that's...
Yeah,
without making him like Glorfindel level of just immune to magic, I think this is what you do.
Yeah. I think this is like a step in the right direction. The only thing that I find very
You crack me up,
weird
Tomas.
is that
Nothing. You're like, it's a step in the right direction.
it is giving people
You
resistance
have
to
very
magic.
opinionated.
An addition
views.
too late. An addition too late, by the way. Mind you, this would have been better last edition. They shit on magic with these new changes where they nerf magic, they nerf channeling. Well, they kind of buffed it. The channeling. The reason was no one uses it because it's bad. So we're gonna nerf magic, and then we're gonna make channeling consistent.
No one using it because they lack the foresight on when to use it is a different issue. Because, like I said, there are times when you can put a channeled instill fear, and you can just win the game.
Yeah.
Because if you have your whole army and you attack half of their army, you make their other half of them run. You can just kill them all in one turn.
Yeah,
So,
that's that's a good point. On like how there's more complexities. That the
I mean, you can still
this is
do
gonna
that
have to be
now.
a
You
totally
can
different,
still do
yeah,
that now. It's just a lot
totally different
harder because the
conversation.
channeled version of Instill Fear was you had to roll 2 and then subtract the lowest one or subtract the highest one and whatever that was to equal 10. But Courage has also been nerfed because now you need whatever you get on the dice. So you can, if it's drained Courage or if it's with Harbinger, which that's how it's pronounced, by the way. I just want to make that clear. Harbinger is a word. And yeah, so Courage now you can get all the way up to like 12 plus. You can have to
Yeah,
get a 12, which is good. I think it broadens the range of it. Well, let's continue. So
yeah,
I just want to real quick. Horse Lord is great. It's the one that lets you use your fate to save your horse. And Mighty Hero obviously gives you 1 might per turn. Resistance to magic is the big thing that's new. The other 2 were
Mighty
already in
Hero is
the old
garbage.
edition. What is?
Mighty Hero.
Oh,
We're
terrible.
really
Yeah.
out there. Yeah,
Dog tier.
I just,
Dog tier.
yeah, yeah,
Especially when we're in the Hall of Cats is definitely dog tier.
yeah.
So they write a little blurb here. Oh, we didn't talk about this fight value
What?
7.
Oh yes, that's 557. That's what it should have been all along. An addition too late. Always with these people. I honestly think Games Workshop doesn't even play their game. You
They
know,
don't even like it.
they don't.
Jay
They
Claire's never even seen the game.
like the common sense changes don't happen soon enough, and it just builds resentment in the community. People want to play with the fun heroes. Why did I have to wait for a whole new edition to play with Aragorn when I could have fucking played with him in the current edition? Why they do it to one of the main people in the story and the movie? I honestly think Games Workshop has never seen a Lord of the Rings movie or read the Lord of the Rings book because they're nerfing all the people that don't play a good role. Dragon Emperor, bro.
Who's
I,
Rutabi?
I honestly, yeah, I
To quote a
honestly,
great YouTuber, who is Rutabi?
dude, I've never read the book for Lord of the Rings, but I can tell you with 100% accuracy, I have never read the words Dragon Emperor in those books. I know for a fact they're not there. Why is
He's
he so
not a
fucking good?
character because
Why?
he
Why is
makes
he?
the money.
Because he costs $120. You know,
True, but
he costs.
let's stay on focus,
Okay,
Tomas.
yeah, we gotta
You're
focus.
fuming off right now. So fight 7, which I also like, but the one thing that I would have liked to see, I think, a little more is them increasing the cap on the fight value, because no offense to Aragorn's supreme. He is a great character and one of the best characters to represent mankind in the story. But he's not as good a fighter as Elrond. Like, Elrond has fought
You
for
think?
thousands of years.
Well, you have to think about it. I think it's one of those things where uh, they play at this in other fantasy, like in other fantasy stories, where elves, because they live for so long, they take things for granted. Meaning that the rate at which they learn skills is not as good as the rate that humans learn skills because
Did you
we
know
know our
Elrond
time is
is?
so
I mean, he's
limited.
not necessarily a half elf, but his lineage is half elven. He could have chosen to be a man. In fact, his brother does choose to be a man, and he becomes the first king of Numenor. Elrond is in the entire story. He's a huge
Yeah.
part of the entire story from the end of the First Age onward. I'm just gushing about. I'm just gushing about Elrond. I mean,
Bro, Elrond fucked up when he didn't fucking stab his shoulder in the back and chuck the ring
okay, but
into the fire.
it's not how it happens though in the book. Like,
What do you mean? I saw the movie, bro.
okay,
So that's how that happened.
okay.
I got a cherry pick
Calm
here,
down,
bro.
calm
I got a
down,
cherry pick
calm
here.
down, calm down. Let's just stay on task. So, I would have liked to see them raise the cap a little, but I am very pleased to see Aragorn now fight 7 because
Well,
he should be fight 7.
this is now the standard because Elrond and him are now fight 7. That means
But do you think I think Legolas and Gimli are going to say fight 6?
you think? I think they should be.
You think Boromir too is going to go fight 7?
They're all going to be fight 7. Wait, Boromir's fight 6, and then he goes up to 7 with the banner.
So you think Boromir is going to be fight 8?
I think, yeah. I think he's going to go up to fight 8. You know, I think everyone that was, fight 6 is going to go up to fight 7. Newer models that were buffed and fight that had higher fights than like the Fellowship, those are going to stay where they're at.
Like Rutabi.
Yeah, all those people that had like the higher fight, they're going to stay where they're that are newer than like the Fellowship and stuff like that. That people always said like should have higher fight.
Like Thorin's company.
Are going to stay at the exact same fight.
Okay.
Oh, look, MFE North saying they'll all be fight 7.
Okay.
I think that might be John,
Ooh,
John.
Nice.
Yeah. I agree. I think everyone is going to be fight 7.
We'll see. That would be interesting. I don't know if they empty out fight 6 completely, then it's going to be a little weird. You got to leave some of them is what I mean.
Oh, some of the old ones? Because I know some of the new characters coming in, we know they're going to be 5'6". The War of the Rohirrim.
Haleth and Hama and them, yeah. But see, I would think... Well, I think Éomer's going to get fight 6, so... Hagen, congrats. But, yeah, I think they got to leave some of them. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Let's continue. Right. Let's continue. So
I was 5'6". Oh, we'll get to that. Don't worry, we'll get to that. That's for later. We got to talk about.
We don't have that in the article today. We'll have to see about that.
But that's going to be a totally different when we see the words MT words of mystery.
Yeah, I guess we can talk about it when we get to that point.
Yeah.
So fight value, shoot value, all that. What else do we say here? So the other thing I wanted to mention was Fellowship and Dunedain. So there's no, like, he's not in Rohan, or I guess it would be like Grey Company and stuff. But I don't know. I don't know exactly how it's listed out. So it's kind of speculation. But when you look at here where it says faction, does that list like all the places where you can take them? I'm not sure.
Yeah, probably. Because remember, there might not even have the alliance matrix of how we have it now. So this faction is probably going to be what it is. That there's going to be like certain factions that can go with each other. They're going to probably pair up factions, So this is probably like a glimpse into how the alliance system is going to work. But other than that,
nothing else. Let's go on.
Yeah, Great Company wasn't in the movies, so it doesn't exist,
Well, what about Return of the King? What about Army of the Dead? I don't see any of those.
That's
maybe that's Elisar. Maybe he's already Elisar at that point.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Could be.
Probably be. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know.
They're gonna legacy them, dude. They're gonna legacy. They're gonna have a second wave of legacies, and they're gonna legacy the people. Those guys.
Okay. Let's continue. Yeah. We don't want to bore the people again. So let's continue. So it says Aragorn has a lovely bump in his fight value, going from 6 to 7. In this edition, we've redistributed fight value, something the fans have been asking about. And while it still caps at 10, we've taken the opportunity to spread out fight value. So I think we've talked about that already. So let's real quick, we can talk about Brago. And he is a unique mount? No, it doesn't say unique.
Wait, you forgot the part where it says the top, we have been...
profiles, right here, yeah.
The part about Brago that says like the part about fight values. Pardon me, I'm trying to read.
That would be considered at the top of fight value 3 will be bumped up to fight value 4, and those at top 4 will be fight value 5, and so on.
And so forth. So everyone's just getting the bump.
So yeah, we could see base fight 6 elves
Yeah.
and I guess fights 7 Kingsguard elves.
Yeah. Yeah. I honestly think that's what's going to happen. The elves are going to be fight 6, and the but we'll talk about it when we see the warrior minister. Let's continue on with Brago, dude.
Let's continue. Yeah.
This guy is pretty awesome.
So Brago is he's really cool. So he is pretty much standard horse, no attack value, so he'll still run away. But there is a caveat to that: his special rule. So his special rule is sure-footed steed. If Aragorn would be knocked prone whilst riding Brago, and Brago is not slain as a result or the effect causing Aragorn to be knocked prone, then before becoming a separated mount, Aragorn may roll a d6. On a 6, Aragorn is not knocked prone and stays mounted upon Brago. Aragorn may use his might to improve this roll. So really it's a 5 if you think about it.
Yeah. It's a 5. But this should actually be a 5+, bro. Going on a 6, it should be a 5+. Yeah. What is up with these 6s, bro? I know this is the Lord of Sixes, but come on, man. At least make it fun, bro. At least give us a slither of rolling.
We need Lord of Sixes. Yeah, we need Lord of Fives. Let's bring Lord of Fives back.
Lord of Sixes, bro. It's more fun when you ruled on 5s instead of 6s. So why are we rolling 6s for sure-footed steed,
I mean, bro? I'm gonna say it's fun to wound on 2s, but let's not get carried away.
All I'm saying is that he has Aragorn got the horse, but needs to roll a 6.
Mm-hmm.
He got the
but ring, he can use his might.
But needs to roll a 6. It's like.
And I imagine he can use his might. It doesn't say that he can't use his might on the Ring of Barahir.
Oh, on the ring? Yeah, let's pull it up.
Doesn't say you can't use your might, so I imagine you can.
I don't know if there's. I don't know.
So think about it. Okay, Mighty Hero. Mighty Hero. It's probably more like a 5+ most of the time if you're planning right.
Mm-hmm. This is why I hate Mighty Hero, bro. They're like instead of making the abilities actually good, they're having Mighty Hero, like prop up these bad abilities, bro. Instead of making him like 5+.
Yeah, but if it was 5+, then it would really, if Mighty Hero was still there, it would really be a 4+, right?
Yeah, but that's why you throw everything in the kitchen sink at that hero, bro. That way they can't use their Mighty Hero ability, bro. And then
that's what you have to do. Yeah, you have to do something like that. What does it say? Ooh.
Oh, Ring says natural 6
on a natural 6. Good call.
Natural 6. Good call. This is why Mighty Hero's garbage, bro.
It doesn't even affect this. So it's propping up this bad ability isn't even affecting it. Propping up this terrible ability.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's continue. Oh, okay. So now we're gonna get into the Warrior of Minas Tirith. So this is Tomas's faction. This is his main right here. So I'll let him talk about it. You can see it right on the screen.
Yeah, I can see it on the screen. Yeah, see it. Yep, see it right now. So where's the Ministry? If I'll just read off of it. So you got movement 6, fight value 4, shoot value 4+, strength 3, defense 5, attack 1, wound 1, courage 7+, intelligence 7+. The fight value went up from a 3 to a 4. Oh, Victor, your camera went off. You're no longer on your camera. Are you good? Okay. So, one of the things to know, the intelligence value 7+. Brago has a higher intelligence value than the words of Ministerius, bro. That's interesting. Oh, you're muted, bro. I can't.
Didn't you say the regular horse does too?
No, it's just Brago. We don't know what the regular horse value is.
Oh, we don't know. Okay.
Yeah, but Brago is smarter than a warrior minister.
He's pretty smart, dude. Mm-hmm. Remember when Aragorn falls off the cliff? He finds him out there.
Mm-hmm.
So
did it happen he's like pretty that smart. In the book?
No.
Wow, bro. See, this is why the movie was so much better than the book.
All right, stop. Now you're just trying to rile me up. Don't make me talk about golfable.
No. Come on. Gotta stay on track. So race, man, faction, Gondor. So we see that the faction is Gondor, different from the.
Minas Tirith. I think that means that fiefdoms is gone. I think Gondor's just gonna be fiefdoms included because they are fiefdoms of Gondor, which
yeah,
that makes sense.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Unit type, warrior, infantry, base size 25 mm, heavy armor, and hand weapon options. A war administrator must have one of the following options of the listed point cost. Must have one of the following
Must
options.
have, yeah. You have to take one. So your
and
minimum is 9. Your minimum cost is 9.
8 points. They got nerfed. They got they got one more fight, and they got one more point. So I guess it kind of evens out. But now a shield is 9 points, and a shield and spear is 10 points. So they still have shield wall.
10 points for a warrior of Minas Tirith with 3 strength. This is why I don't. This is why I don't play.
Look.
As much as I like Gondor in the books and the lore's amazing.
Restricted war gear thoughts.
Our thoughts. It means he's saying how you have to take one and you can't take multiple. I think it's a mixed bag. There are good things about it and there are bad things about it. So the good things are there are no more spear bow combos going about. Now, I don't know actually. I don't know because let's think about the spirit of the game here. What is this? What is in the spirit of the game?
Okay, look, I think it's a good thing because it really simplifies making the models and list building, because now it's I have to optimize my points. I'm missing 3 points. Now I have to give this person a bow. I have to give this person that. Oh, my banner is always going to have shield and spear. Always. It's
but you can't anymore.
Now you can't. So now by taking away options, you make it easier. You restrict the options.
I do like that because whole your infantry are adventurers carrying around 6 weapons or whatever is it breaks immersion.
It's just, I think it's a good change because all it did was just made more of annoyance for people trying to min max. Now that it is now you're gonna mid max, but it's more constrained. So you're not gonna be okay, the best use of my points. I'll give these 3 guys bows and these and spears, and then I'll just have one guy with a bow, and then I'll just have one guy, 2 guys with a shield, and then everyone else has a shield and spear. That's not fun, bro. That's tedious. That's annoying.
So now also another thing to note is this is how they come in the box. This is how they're sculpted already.
Yep.
So there's which, okay, from a hobbying point of view, I don't like that.
Oh man.
Because I do like converting. So no weapon swaps too,
Oh yeah.
I mean, it says hand weapon. It says hand weapon. They just got rid of special strike, so I guess.
Yeah, they got.
I guess that's really what it was, anyways.
So this is how is Victor coming to terms with Rib losing shields on swordsmen?
Well, as someone who mostly 2 hands, anyways, it's not that bad for me. I will probably use the spear and shield loadout more often now.
Yeah.
I even got some proxies for it, so I think I'll just use the spear and shield loadout for them. And some 2-handers, of course.
Your units are just gonna get melted, bro. Everyone's just gonna strike them on 5+. If you can't take shields with the sword.
We'll see. Normally, I build it to where I have really good shooting and blinding light, so you have to come into me first of all. So I'm not worried about shooting. Yeah. By the time you're in combat, if I'm 2-handing, I'm trying to kill you anyways. So, but that's just me. I'm not one to say like, oh, I've done it maybe once or twice to say like, oh, all my elves with this pose right here have shields. I don't normally do that. I try not to, anyways.
So we gotta think about now we have to think about what is it called? Let me the Fountain Court Guard.
We
Now
have
we
to
got
think
this out
about
of the
that.
way. Look, because
Look,
Warrior Minister, they're like the baseline, you know. Day before their baseline was 5-3. Now they're 5-4.
yeah, but I don't think orcs are going up. I hate to say
Orcs,
it,
yeah, it doesn't make sense. Yeah, I agree with you. Orcs are not going to go up.
but like I said, yeah. See, that does suck. That's worse. Um, that is
That
much worse. No bows
again,
and spears for
yeah,
elves,
yeah, that's pretty bad.
which means I'll actually probably use fewer of these cats and just have my bows be my two-handers in the line. Yeah, but back to what we were saying.
Yeah,
Fountain Court,
the
right?
Fountain Court Guard, you take them with shields. With shields. They're 11 points. You have to take them with shields because they become defense 7. That way they don't get melted by strength
They're
4.
11 in this edition, so they're probably. You think they're
So
12?
so they're gonna go. They're gonna be 5-5. They're gonna be defense 7. And you can't take the shield with them. They're already gonna be defense 7, and so they're gonna be 12 now.
Is
Wait,
shielding is not around anymore? Is that right?
would they have removed shielding? Has there been
It was
any?
a special strike, I
Oh, was it a
believe,
special strike?
something like
That's
that.
interesting. That's interesting because I felt like shielding, it's pretty good when you're just trying to stall.
I mean,
Or just
it does help you hold objectives and things like that. It's
yeah,
useful in situations for sure.
yeah,
But I was just curious about that because
yeah. I don't know
if you have a fountain court guard on an objective and you don't want him to die, like, and he's
yeah.
5-5, got a bunch of orcs or goblins around, you're probably gonna want a shield.
John is saying shielding will still exist. Um,
Mm,
if it is not a special strike, then yeah, I guess it will
great.
still exist.
I'm down for
Um,
that.
it makes sense, you know, because shielding was not anything too complicated. Uh, I think if you have the
It's really
special
quick,
role
and
shield wall,
the thing I
if you have
like,
shield wall, you should be able to shield. The backline should be able to support and shield as well. If you're in shield
that
wall,
would be interesting if you're in shield wall. That would give shield wall a big boost. Um,
hmm
what I was gonna say is, oh goodness, what was I gonna say? You made me lose my train of thought.
yeah, my bad.
It's okay. Um, nope. Oh, I know what I was gonna say. So with special strikes, it was all like some bookkeeping stuff, like other special rolls, things like that. With shielding,
And
it's like
annoying.
here I roll 2.
Yeah, yeah.
That was
And like
literally
two
it.
hand, and two hand is like, oh, I'm two handing with this guy. Oh, minus one to
-1.
my fight.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
my.
really easy and quick to
Yeah,
go
it's
through.
super easy. Yeah, the special strikes are fucking annoying. They're bad. They're annoying.
Were you ever
It
stunned
was
this
just
whole edition? Have you ever been bashed this edition?
I've
Did
never been bashed
did
actually.
anyone
I've never been
whirl
bashed.
on you in this
No, I've
edition?
never. No, never saw anyone whirl against me. I've
How
been
sad.
stabbed, fainted at.
And piercing
Pierced.
strike.
Yeah, and the
That's
other ones
pretty
are
much
just
it.
bad. It's so funny, bro. We know these abilities are bad objectively, and guess what GW does? Fucking nothing. They give us a new edition and they take those
We
out,
hold
bro.
on. We
You know,
don't. They
fuck
took
us,
them
right?
out, but we don't know if they're replacing them with anything.
Bro, no, I
Let's
think they
just hold
said they
on.
weren't going to give us like special strikes.
Right,
I don't
right,
know,
right. But
man.
I don't want them in the same way that they
Yeah,
were. Obviously, there were issues with it, right?
yeah. Oh, look. So now let's go back to the fight. Well, that's for
Back to the
another
fight.
time. You know, back to the
Yes.
fight values. Fight value, we know Guardians of the Fountain Court are going to be base value 5. With Boromir's Banner, they're going to go to 6. Because of that, if Boromir's Banner still works, I think it's still going to work like that because all the new models have
fight value buffs. Yep. Yep. I've seen
bubbles,
that.
and
Yep.
it's just like, yo, what the fuck? People complain that this was already a problem, and you guys just fucking, gave it to
They
everyone
double
now.
down. Yeah, they double
Yeah,
down.
it like makes no sense. Um, and I don't even think theirs is tied behind theirs is tied behind like activations that have to happen, but there's no point value increase, bro. My camera got like out of
It's okay.
it's not focused. I don't know. But they didn't let me turn it off and turn it back on. They didn't what's it called?
I don't know what
I
you were
I
saying. Oh,
I
you
lost I
lost your
lost my
train of
I
thought. Wow.
lost
What
my
do you
train of
know?
thought, dude.
Happens to the
You know,
best of us, doesn't it?
yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah.
so the Warrior Minister, we talked about the limited war gear. The other thing I want to say,
I'm sorry. I remembered. They didn't tie their fight value buffs to like being costed in the model that they had to take
right.
something to increase the cost. They're just like, here, it's costed behind an activation. Um, but uh, but yeah, that's just my spiel on that. So Boromir is still gonna get his fight bubble buff. Um, you know, Falcor guards are gonna be 6 now. A 5/6 can go toe to toe with elves like they've always been able to
It's
because of
wild that we've
the
talked
banner.
about Fountain Court more than we talked about Warriors of Ministry.
Because you should not take them. Final Four cards are superior. Just do Final Four spam like a normal human being, dude. Never take Warriors of Minister. They're fucking garbage. And now this edition with this nerf, by giving them one more fight value, when you could have just given them a banner, or taking them,
But you have to,
with
all right,
one.
you have to take them in Battle of Fornost at least. You can say that.
I guess you have, but you have elves. You have already elves backing them up. You don't even need the fight four on them.
Oh, well, I'm not talking about the Fight 4. I'm just saying places where you would have to use them.
Yeah, and now it feels even worse that
Excuse
they
me.
went up a point. But okay,
Let's
I
continue.
digress, bro. Let's continue on.
Well, but actually, before we continue, I did just want to
Garner
mention.
will
So
be
we
elites.
were
Oh,
talking about the
Garner the fountain
limited.
point, you can't spam them anymore. Is what the chat is saying. That yes, that is true, but we don't know what the link counts are going to be on people. We're hoping it's high because it only makes sense to do. God gave us fountain court guard so that we can spam them, not so that we have to fill our
The
ranks with
reasoning is
warriors
just
of
because you.
non-stairs.
It's just because you want it. That's it. It's just because you want it.
Look, bro. God wants me to play this game. And Final
Goodness.
Court spam is what will allow us to play this game.
Us.
You know,
Okay. Allow
you know,
us. Me, who
allow
doesn't
us.
play Gondor at all. All right.
I don't know,
Well,
bro.
one thing I did want to mention about the limited war gear options, besides all the things that we said, that they come already like pre-modeled that way.
This
It
is
also
not copium. Sorry, chat is saying this is copium. It's not copium, bro. It's just what's
it's a
right
little
for
bit.
the community. It's just what's right for the community, bro. We've been fucked so hard. This edition, the release for this new edition, bro. My wife thinks I'm cheating on her from how often Games Workshop fucks us.
Oh goodness. Well,
Right.
I don't know.
Let's
I don't agree. These are not the views of the podcast.
Bro,
Anyway, can you let me make my point?
Okay, go. Continue, bro. Continue.
So all I was gonna say is that having the limited and like forced war gear options it's going to streamline a lot of list building for newer players and allow the accessibility for newer players to be a lot more accessible, I guess. And so that's good because if we are bringing in new players, we're going to be able to grow as a community, all that. That's just the last thing I wanted to mention.
Yeah, no, I agree with those statements. I think the war gear is a good change. And I'm sorry, what was your second?
that it would be easy. It's easier for people to get into the community
Oh,
because
yeah, because
of it already being pre-modeled and
yeah,
just
yeah,
allowing people to come in as it is and not having to be like,
it-
well, let me go
yeah,
find this model that they don't sculpt and I need to do axes on if to be the best or whatever.
yeah. Like, bro, like this model is not easy. You have to take them off the sprue. You have to like clean them up. You have to put them on the base. Then you have to paint them. You know, none of those. The painting part is not easy. And then you're like, oh hey, this model is actually not complete. You want to run them this way? They're not complete. You have to go out
Complete garbage.
to third party and get these things so that you can like ramshackle it together, like do it like very shittily, and then you're gonna put it on and you're not gonna convert it because you just started this hobby. So it's gonna look like
It's
shit.
going to be it's a more daunting
Yeah.
task. It's true.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that was my final point, and I think it's good for us to grow as a community. Actually, right now, I think it's a
Yeah.
bright time, especially with the new edition. We can try
Yeah.
and poach a lot of otherwise
You know,
occupied gamers, let's say. So let's
you know,
continue.
I heard things that people in the Warhammer 40K 10th edition, from people that like to watch that, it's not the same anymore. So people aren't playing it that much. So maybe they'll come and see that the grass is greener on the other side, bro, and they'll play the superior game.
That would be cool.
But I digress. I think.
That would be cool. Not to try and poach them or anything. I think Blood Bowl players are cool. Like I have a lot of respect for them. Anyways, just to move on. I haven't played
Yeah.
Blood Bowl ever. So what else did they say about Minas Tirith? Some warriors may choose to not take any options. Oh, like this Minas Tirith warrior
But like,
must
why would
select
you not
options
take
from
the
the provided
shield?
list.
You know, you
Okay,
might as
hold
well
on.
take
There
the
are
shield.
times when you don't want to take it on a goblin or,
Oh,
something like
okay,
that.
yes. No, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
It just
for
not,
those models that you just never take them on, it makes sense that you don't have to take them on.
which is good, but it
Um,
also,
yeah,
those are usually sculpted. Like, for example, Moran and Orcs have just a hand weapon and no shield. And that's probably one that won't have to take it if Moran and Orcs are in it. I'm hoping this would make more like lore sense that it's just orcs with armor and then orcs with heavy armor. And orcs with
oh,
heavy armor are the ones with Moranans,
mhm.
and the orcs with armor are the ones with just regular.
So do you think the Morannans are gonna get defense up and go up one defense and get a because they can take shields, right?
They can,
Currently
yeah.
in this edition.
They just
So they're
can't
gonna
take.
go
They
up
can't take
in
too
one
many weapons
defense
though.
and go up in a point
Yeah, I mean,
because
I could imagine. I don't know. It might get too complicated if it says like make one option from the list: armor, heavy armor, and shield. Actually, that might make sense. Heavy armor and shield, or like armor and two-handed weapon, or if they already have armor.
no, I think that would be way too complicated. If you're saying like take one armor and shield or heavy armor and shield, you can't easily, differentiate between like heavy armor and shield. Is that what you're
But
saying that the
there are
warrior they come
different.
up for the warrior options?
No, there are two different orc models. So the Moran and orc models are clearly they have heavy armor in their profile.
Mhm.
The orc model, orc warriors, Mordor
Yeah,
orc warriors, they do not have heavy armor. They just have
yeah.
regular armor.
Hmm.
So if you're adding in the war gear, it is the same profile you'd be using, but it'd be two different models because one has heavy armor and one does not.
Hmm.
It's the same thing like in the old edition. How let's say could Boromir was always in heavy armor though, right? Let's take
You're
Faramir.
talking in the
Faramir.
wrong in the edition before this edition. You're talking the wrong
Well,
person.
I'm talking
I've never
about
played
this
that.
current edition right now.
Oh, mhm.
So Faramir is a good example, right? It's the same. Faramir is the same model. It's just different war gear options that
Oh
are
yeah,
sold.
you're yeah, and he
Same
can take
profile,
heavy
sorry,
armor.
same
Yeah, yeah.
profile, and different models for his different war gear options. That's what I'm saying for the orc thing.
Yeah, got
But
you.
anyways, that was
But
a total
yeah,
digression. Let's go ahead and continue. So
yeah, yeah.
let's talk about intelligence because that is something that you were mentioning a lot earlier. So in our chat. So a model's intelligence characteristic denotes how smart or cunning they are, and at times during a game, a model may require to take an intelligence test. This works in much the same way as a courage test. So you roll 2d6 and need to equal or beat the target number shown. Some special rules, such as trying to spot invisible ring bearers, will require models to take an intelligence test. And monsters will need to do so when they make a hurl, brutal, power attack to see where they can throw their target. These are just two examples of interactions in the game.
So when I read this, what do you imagine when they say when they make a hurl power to see where they can throw their target? So you're saying like, will they be able like it's most likely not going to be directional. It's not going to be like, hey, you can throw them, to the left or to the right of your model. It's probably going to
You think
be
it's going to be how far?
and no, it's probably going to be like it's either like a dud. Oh, you know what it could be? Um, that either your opponent gets to choose which direction it gets thrown. It's a dud where like or like you get to choose which direction it gets thrown. It's gonna be, you know, I don't know, man. I'm thinking, uh, well, it's an intelligence check, so it's gonna be either passes or fails. So it's I was thinking it was gonna be like on the artillery tree, the artillery
Yeah,
dice
it's
to see
not.
like
Yeah.
it's
I
not
see
gonna
what you
be
mean.
like that. It's not gonna be like, oh, like go north, east, west, or south. So it's probably gonna be like, hey, if you pass your intelligence check, throw them the way you want to throw them. If you didn't, it's a dud. So it goes off, but it doesn't. It fizzles and it doesn't kill everyone. Like it doesn't
Your
go through the line.
throw fizzles out.
Yeah,
You
like
throw like a
it's
girl. That's what happens.
yeah. You probably kill your guy that you're throwing, but he doesn't get to like hurl through the group of people and cause the damage. He probably got hurled too high or hurled too low, so he
Oh,
goes over
interesting
them.
point. Yeah.
You
Okay.
know,
Interesting point.
so he's not like a
It's not like
bully.
it's not like they're rolling bowling balls down,
Yeah,
knocking horses down left and right like they are in this current
yeah,
edition. Because
yeah,
that's what happens in this edition. Is
yep,
like
yep.
one guy will just send a whole cav
And
to their ass.
and I didn't like Hurl in this edition because I felt like it added more like it added you had to play around more around it because they're like, oh shit, if this guy can just come in here to my back line and just roll through the whole thing and I'm fucked. It was kind of counterintuitive how the game is played, where it's usually two rows of people walk up to each other and smack into each other, or like two or three rows actually
Okay,
of
but
people walk up to each other and smack up.
some people like
Into
the asymmetric combat that comes with
each
playing things like spiders or Beornings. That's not like that, right? You can
Yeah,
agree.
yeah, I can see how you like to play with monsters, but it's just not annoying because how you play against it is either you you get a trap off and you're able to kill them, or you uh or you just throw at them one model every turn, just so that they only can kill one or two models every
And you make
turn.
sure you wrap so that it gets hurled just away.
Yeah, exactly. Then you have to be like, okay, so I know I'm going to place them right here. Oh, okay, they can't get hold into this guy. Oh, okay, they can't get hold of this guy. This is a perfect location. Okay, so now I have to put one guy, so if they barge or something, they can only go into this next guy right
Yeah.
here.
You got to watch out for
S-
the barge. I've
and,
actually
you know,
won many games with using barge.
so So it's like the monsters
Corridor.
that have to
Oh,
play
victory
around
points.
so much, that it's very annoying. I guess it makes sense because you're paying so much for them. They should have
Well, we're going to
abilities,
talk about that a little more later. So
but
let's save
you
that. Let's
know,
save the
yeah,
value
yeah.
of monsters for a minute because I think we're going to talk
I,
about that a little more
I just
later.
think playing against monsters is annoying and it's not fun because then you have
How
to
can it be?
really
How can it be
pay
fun?
attention to how you're placing your troops. So
Mo-
like when they do their power attacks, you don't get fucked.
Okay, hold
But
on.
I
Hold
guess
on.
you can argue with any placement of your troops, you have to place them in such a way so that if you lose the combat, you don't get fucked. But
I was gonna say
I
how would you make it fun to fight against a monster? Monsters are supposed to like go in and wreck warrior, regular infantry, things like that.
I think they should just nerf.
Nerf
They should probably
monsters
just
that are already bad.
nerf their brutal attacks, their power attacks or whatever, their
It's the
monster
only thing they
attacks,
have
whatever they're
going
called.
for them.
Like, but they have good strength and fight values, good health and attacks.
Okay, wounds,
Um, they have all those other things propping them up.
but
Uh,
no might. Three
yeah,
dice
they don't have
will
much.
three
Maybe,
dice
maybe,
can flub a lot more than it seems. Maybe give them an extra dice. I don't know. But anyways, we'll see
yeah.
what they do. We'll see what they do.
We'll
But
see
that's
what they
just
do
an
there.
example of an intelligence usage.
Yeah.
So the next thing we have is priority roll. So this is big, and we're going to talk about this a bit, I think. So the biggest change in this edition is priorities. So previously, whoever won the priority roll automatically had priority that turn, but winning that roll sometimes felt like losing as going first. Could it be detrimental to your plans? Now, if you win the priority roll, you may choose to take priority or give it to your opponent. This immediately makes winning the roll far more important in deciding whether or not to take priority or whether to give it to your opponent. During key parts of the battle, we'll make all kinds of crucial and interesting tactical decisions. What do we think about this?
It is a great change. Sometimes there's been plenty of times where I want to lose priority, but then won it. And a good example is when you're going against an army that has what's it called, terror.
Terry, yeah.
You usually like if you don't have high courage checks, you most likely want to lose the priority, so the terror model is charging to you.
Because typically
I
that's evil if it's en masse, and unless it's elves, and then you just lose, I guess.
Yeah. So, it's a nice change because that way it just makes winning priority worth more because now you get to choose.
Which actually buffs Elrond, which you were saying they didn't change much to Elrond. Not only they do
Oh,
that,
yeah,
does buff
maybe that's
Elrond,
yeah,
but it
maybe that's
also
why.
Elrond also got expert rider, so that is supreme. Now he can grab objectives and the sees the prize and sees the prize. If that's a thing, I don't know if
Does
those
he
are
have a
new.
named horse? Is his horse named?
No, he's too
Really? He
old. He's
doesn't.
too old for that. I guess. I don't know.
Interesting that they didn't give him a named horse. Oh well. It's probably because he didn't have a named horse in the movie.
He doesn't really ride out in the books either. Well, in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, I should say. So this is big, and I
That's why
think
he's the best.
everyone likes this
Why he's the best
change.
model.
Pretty much everyone I've talked to likes this change. I think it's going to be big and easier to understand for people too. So that will be well. I'm interested to see how it plays out because I mean, still you're going to be able to call heroic moves and things like that. So we'll really see how it pans out. Now this one says clearer and more consistent wording. Let's read through this real quick. So in this edition, we've decided to rewrite everything from the ground up, ensuring that the wording for rules is simpler where possible, providing more diagrams and examples, and making sure to use consistent rules terminology throughout. This doesn't mean the rules have completely changed, just as that the way they are presented has changed to add further clarity to many areas in the Middle-earth strategy battle game manual. For example, during the move phase, you will activate each of your models in turn, during which they will be able to move and do anything else their rules permit them to do during their activation. While this wording is new to Middle-earth, it's fundamentally mechanically the same. Moving to clearer and better defined wording allows us to provide greater clarity and more in-depth timing steps for when rules take place, something that will only improve your experience. I have nothing to say here other than good. Be as clear as possible. You have anything, Tomas, on that?
Yeah, this is a terrible.
Terrible. We need to be as vague as possible.
Yeah,
we
you
need to cause as many arguments at tables as possible.
Yeah, how else am I supposed to bend the rules to my liking, dude? You know, whenever I face like poor little Timmy, he's like, "Oh, this rule says this." I'm like, "No, Timmy. This rule might say that, but this is how I think it should be played around, dude.
No,
so
Timmy.
You're wrong." And then just wreck Timmy,
All right. Well, I'm gonna have to make no Timmy, some no Timmy stuff. Goodness.
Yeah.
All right. So
yeah, no, but other than that, no, I agree. It's a good change.
Right. But the last thing that's on here and what we'll talk about is this. So there are various other changes too. Some unit types, such as war beasts and chariots, have their own sections, making the rules clearer, which is good. Before this, a lot of oval bases would just be able to move more by pivoting every turn, and it was kind of broken. So I'm glad that those are getting fixed. Match play scenarios have been rebalanced, and they all go up to 20 victory points. So that's wild. That's really big. I'm actually happy for that too, because even in objective scenarios, it's like you get 1 point for this. It's like, okay, well, that doesn't do that much, right? I'm going to like them having a bigger spread out, I think, of that. What do you think about that, 20 victory points?
I like it. I wonder how they're gonna, if they're gonna add more objectives to the game, or if they're gonna just increase the value of the current objectives in the game, or they might add more of like those objectives, like the banner. They might add like some other objective like that. Maybe they'll add a Warhorn one,
Oh, that would be cool. I do like Warhorns, yeah.
Now people are going to have to bring the Warhorns,
Yeah.
So something like that.
Right, I think I like that though, right? You like that?
Yeah, now it gives you a reason to bring the Warhorn. Yeah,
well, we don't know. We don't know if they're making a Warhorn thing, but I'm saying
okay, we don't. But one of the main things that I heard was like a complaint was that people don't bring Warhorns, and one of the reasons is because there's only like a banner point value. Yeah. So maybe they'll combine the Warhorn and the banner one together, and they might be
it could be 1 point if you have either a Warhorn or a banner, 2 points if you have both, something like that.
Or it could be just like, hey, just take one of them and you'll get a point, because maybe you don't want to take a banner, you want to take the Warhorn, but I don't see why you would do that.
Okay, yeah, let's not get carried away.
But something like that, bro. Make the Warhorn great again, bro. Remember when the Warhorn used to be great? I don't
either. We're both kind of new to this game still. Anyways, so yes, we're both excited for that. So improvements to brutal power attacks, magical power, special rules, blah, blah. So one that we're going to talk about in this article is dominant. So the dominant X special rule reads this: not every creature in Middle-earth was created equally. Many are far more imposing than others and command a far more dominant presence on the battlefield. This model counts as a number of models as shown in the bracket when working out how many models are in range of an objective in a specific area of the board, or when working out how many models have escaped the battlefield. So a model with dominant 3 would count as 3 models in range of an objective or in a specific area of the board, or 3 models when working out how many models have escaped the battlefield. If a model would gain the special rule whilst in range of another model or specific area of the board, then moves off the board, they will not gain the benefit of the special rule once off the board. If a model has 2 sources of dominant X special rule, then they use the highest value.
That last part is very interesting, because why would you have two sources of dominant
It,
X? You know.
because it looks like there's going to be some AoE of this. If you read back, it says if a model will gain the special rule whilst in range of another model.
Oh, so like someone's presence is like so dominating
That it
that
makes
it gives
others
other
dominant, which,
people dominant.
ooh, that could be how they buff Gandalf. They could give him some kind of dominant AoE spell or something like that that gives dominant
Wait.
to.
No. We already saw the spells, so there's no dominant.
Oh yeah,
I
you're
guess an
right.
ability,
It could be an
but
ability, yeah. We
that
did
sounds
see
like
the spell.
garbage, bro. Just fucking lower his points and make his spells. Well, they never
All right,
spell.
hold on. Well,
Just lower his points, bro. Just
I'm
lower
not,
his points,
not
man.
trying to send you off on tangent, but I'm just saying, like, if you can get dominant from other sources,
Yeah.
so that could be
Give
something.
give
I'm saying
Gandalf
like,
mighty hero,
so
bro.
let's say, I don't know.
It's probably like instead of like a fight bubble buff, they give him a dominant bubble buff, So it's like some
Each warrior
each
minus turret
warrior
will
has
count as
dom
2 or 3.
has
That's kind of
dominant like
big
two
though.
or something. I don't know.
I don't
It
know
would be
either.
because it would have to be dominant two. It can't because dominant one
Is
it doesn't
nothing.
add.
Dominant one is
Yeah,
nothing.
dominant. So it has to be dominant two or higher.
Yeah.
Um, but honestly,
Dominant one
dude,
is everyone.
this is
Everyone has
this is
dominant
a
one.
this is a step in the wrong direction because I already felt monsters were annoying to deal with, especially
So just
flying
just get rid
monsters.
of them, right?
So now you're
You just
like,
hate
oh
Felbeast.
hey,
You just hate
like
Felbeast. Have you played against Guy?
I played with yes, I played against Guahir. I played with Guahir. But I've never the first time I played with Guahir, I never used the monster before, so it was like a bad showing. But yeah, it's just
But
bro,
you
why
you
the
have played
monsters were flying? Why did you make them stronger? You know,
yeah, I mean,
they can just
this is true
zip
because
zap
now
around, and now you're just like, oh hey, now they can just like zap around into my back objective, which they could already do. So now I have to at least keep one plus the amount of dominant the monster has. You know.
well, I mean, what about
Oh, actually,
Reconnoiter?
no,
Like if we're
no.
if there's a Reconnoiter type scenario
Mm.
and let's say a Felbeast has dominant 2, Nazgul's obviously 1. You just fly
Mm.
across, can't get caught by anyone. Like you just fly across and you automatically score 3, right?
Yeah. Reconnoiter is the one where you like
You just go
go off the
across.
table,
Yeah.
go off the table edge.
hmm
Yeah, I guess yeah, you would have to do that towards the end, because you're not gonna,
You could just
just
do it to start. That makes your opponent, if they want to score max points, that makes your opponent have to get 9 across without you getting any more. I mean, you could throw a few spells. I'm just saying it as an example, not to say that is literally what I would do. I'm just using it as an
yeah,
example.
got you. I know, bro. I think because of flying monsters,
This sucks.
this
This
was
is
terrible.
terrible.
This was a terrible.
But
I
it
don't
does.
know how
Hey,
they're
it
gonna.
does buff regular monsters, though, right? I
Yeah,
imagine they'll
it
have
does.
it.
It does buff the regular monsters, but because you're buffing the regular monsters, you also have to buff the flying monsters. So it's like I don't know
But what if they give
how.
them only dominant 2 instead of dominant 3?
Well, hey, it's still more than enough to make them more annoying. Like yeah, they won't get dominant three, but now
More
you have to
annoying.
be you have to be like, okay, so I have to keep at least three people in my back in like the thing that I'm
Yeah,
trying
you
to
do.
protect so that they don't, and like I have to pray that they don't kill the person that they charge into,
Well,
in order to
unless
have
you
like
commit other forces behind, but that's kind of the idea. That's
yeah,
what a flying monster's about. You
yeah.
control
But
some of the area,
but
some of the
it's
board.
but it's like they were already annoying because they had high mobility and very difficult to lock down unless you had magic. So now you nerf the magic. So now these flying monsters are going to be even stronger because you nerf magic and they have dominant X. I don't think this was the right move. Only because they are flying monsters that are already annoying to deal with.
All right. Well, this is an hour and 5 minutes long so far. Any last words you want to say? Overall thoughts on the
Overall,
update?
well, Aragorn is good. That's good to see. I can't wait to see Elisar. If they don't make Elisar really good, I'll be disappointed. It the horses, especially with Brego, that's really cool. Sad to see that's not 5+ on some of these abilities. I guess we're always just gonna play Lord of Sixes, but Word Minister getting nerfed kind of sucks. Never played them because I would just do ground court spam.
Never
But
played them.
now that found courts are gonna be tied behind elites. That kind of sucks. I'm gonna have to change up my whole play style. I'm probably never gonna be able to field like 30 found court guard in one game anymore. Which
Which I
kind of
mean,
sucks.
doesn't
I'm glad I wasted my money. Fuck me, right?
he bought proxies. No one feel that bad. Don't feel that
No,
bad.
no,
He
no.
did not
Okay,
buy no
no.
because look.
I did buy proxies, but those proxies still cost money, bro.
Okay, but if you
Okay,
don't
so
deceive the people, you did not
look,
buy
okay, I didn't.
30
I'm not an
Games
idiot.
Workshop.
I'm not an idiot, and I did not spend like how much is it? Like $40 for 3, 4 models? It's like
It's
$40
four
for
at a
like
time. So to buy
$40
30,
for like
you would.
four. Wait. But do you hear how stupid that sounds?
Oh, I'm not defending
Buying
them. I'm just
buying
trying to.
buying 4 models for
I'm
$40.
trying to say you're building a case for sympathy here. When
No,
I think
okay,
you spent
because
what
I still wasted my money.
it's not
What
a. You
Hey,
can sell those. Hold on.
because
You
I
can
use my
sell
money for
those. You can sell those to someone who doesn't have Fountain Court Guard
Yes, I guess
in
I
the
could,
community. You can be part of the community. What about that?
bro. I can't stand these people.
We don't like them.
We don't like these Middle Earth strategy battle game community, bro. I can't stand those people.
Oh
Have you seen?
goodness.
Who's part of that community, bro? Have you seen that community?
I've
I
seen them
can't.
once or twice. Yeah.
Yeah, I can barely stand those people, and heck, we're part of it, bro.
Yeah, I know.
Are we
Wild.
the problem?
So that's a we are. Are
Yeah.
we the baddies? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a good point to leave off. So
Yeah.
here we were into Vildo's kitchen here. We're cooking up some good streams, hopefully for all you fine people watching, all
Yeah.
two of you. This was our coverage of the new leagues circa November 26, 2024. One last thing I want to mention before we go is right here you can see where it says Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim. So that's going to be its own kind of licensing thing. So that's just one thing to note that might come into play later on when we talk about the specific models and things that come into that. Anyways, this has been the Hall of Cats podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed your